Hey everyone, we love to travel, but this year things have changed a little bit. Like many others this summer, my husband and I decided to go staycationing. We rented ourselves an RV in Clarenville and headed out for a 2-week-long adventure across our beautiful province of Newfoundland. We drove 2,600 kilometers, visited over 15 communities, and met tons of great people along the way. Stay tuned and join us on our staycation. This week on Staycation NL, we visit one of the most scenic areas of the province, Gros Morne. This UNESCO World Heritage Site covers 1,800 square kilometers and is a paradise for nature lovers, adventurers, and photographers alike. The park was formed by colliding continents and the grinding action of glaciers on the long-range mountains around 1.2 billion years ago. And those mountains are visible for much of the drive to our campsite, Water's Edge at Gros Morne.
My name is Becky, this is Alex.
Hi.
You are at Gros Morne Outdoor Experiences, the Water's Edge RV Park and Campground, and the Bombay Market. Our campground here, we've got oceanfront RV and tenting campsites right on Bombay. We've got the salt box pods, which are they're glamping pods. They're really cozy. They're based on a salt box house, so really just cozy shiplap inside, and it's a sweet option if whether you've got your camping gear or whether you don't have any camping gear. It gives you that feel of your camping. And then we've got the Lighthouse suites next door as well here. The Bombay Market, which we're in right now, it offers a little bit of everything. It's certainly our main shop where all of our coordination happens for our outdoor experiences, but we've also got the market here, the bakery, so we got lots of treats and coffees. We do hiking lunches from here, picnics, so you can do a takeout picnic, a Zodiac picnic, a kayak picnic, or a paddleboard picnic, up to you, however way you want it.
Any different type of picnic you want.
Yeah, any way you want it. Yeah, so it's a little bit of what's kind of happening here. It's a busy little spot this year. It's busy. It's certainly a little bit quieter than usual, but we're seeing more Newfoundlanders than we've ever seen. It's fantastic to see people from all over our own island. It's been really great.
Everybody's embracing of the staycation this year.
Yeah. The great thing too, we're right on Bombay, and so that is the saltwater fjord right at the heart of the park. And I mean, even if there's nothing on the water at all and there's no animals to be seen, it's still so peaceful. Whether you're sitting here at the campground with a glass of wine in the evening, or your mug of coffee in the morning, or you're up at one of the restaurants and you're sitting on the deck of the Loft or the Merchant, it's just peaceful. There's something about being on the water. And then because it's a saltwater fjord, you've got the chance of the animals too, whether it's different types of whales or seals or dolphins or tuna. It's a really cool spot to be. It's lively. There's always something to see.
And a great way to see it all is on the open water of Bombay.
So Bombay is the saltwater fjord right at the heart of the park. It is a really special area. From the water, the scenery here, it just opens up. It's lovely driving through and it's awesome hiking, but from the water, the scenery, you just see the layers. Your beautiful little communities, the rolling mountains of Bombay, and then the tablelands. What we don't realize when we're driving here is that they are right behind us, lurking in the background. And from the water, you just get those fantastic contrasting views. And of course, when we're right out in the middle of Bombay, you're at the center of the park. You're right at the heart of it. You get all of the landmarks and all of your communities that you just get wonderful views of it all. And the history that's here and the geology, you know, you get a little bit of the interpretation piece is really important to us.
You may have noticed that there was another family with us on our tour. They were also on staycation, and we had a chance to talk with them after we docked.
Hey, my name is Chad Fowler, over in Gros Morne here for our staycation. Went on the Zodiac tour here in Woody Point. Pretty good little tour. We're heading off to the tablelands now to walk on the mantles. So pretty good place to go for your staycation. Give it a try.
We decided to follow Chad's lead and take a drive to the tablelands to do something that you can only do in 2 other places on Earth. Take a walk on the Earth's mantle.
It's incredible. You see the big picture, and then you've got to go walk on it. Because when you think about your basic layers of Earth, you've got your crust, and then your mantle, and then your core. And what we see out there is mantle rock. It's the second layer. And now if you look at in comparison, the crust is known to be pretty thin compared to your other layers, but it's kilometers and kilometers below your feet. It's not something that you would ever dig to or drill down into. And the fact that you can come here and get out of your vehicle and step right on to that mantle rock is phenomenal, and it's so unique that we've got such a big section of it. Table Mountain, it's over 700 meters at the highest point, and there's another about 500 meters that goes down below the earth of this big slab of mantle rock. And the fact that you can access it so easily, and there's such a big chunk of it here, it's awesome. That's why I always tell the kids, it's like, remember in social studies, the layers of Earth, and you can tell your teacher that you walked on the mantle. I think most of the Newfoundland teachers this year, because of the staycations,
sure.
they will know then exactly where their students were.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, if you're not thinking about Gros Morne, you'd be like, go away with you. You didn't tunnel down to the mantle this summer, but the fact that you can get out and you can explore it is pretty cool.
Our campsite is very well situated, just minutes away from the beautiful tablelands and right in the middle of some beautiful communities.
Our community's here on the southern side, so Glenburnie, Birchie Head, Shoalbrook, where we are today, we're amalgamated into one community. And of course, within all of our communities, there's different coves and stuff, depending on where you ask people where they're from, you'll get different answers. And so then up the road here, we've got Winterhouse Brook, Woody Point and Curzon Village, again, another municipality. The southern side, it's got a really, really cool vibe. It's, like Alex has said, there's new businesses starting. There's a lot of people here, entrepreneurs, that started some really just unique opportunities and unique little spots. And the venues are really personal. Like this year, it is a little bit quieter than usual, but in your normal season, there's most nights you'll find music somewhere or a special event going on, like at St. Pat's. It's got a really, really cool vibe here.
We headed back to Wild Gros Morne with Becky and Alex, where they had something really special planned for us.
So with Wild Gros Morne, we do all different types of outdoor adventures. So our daily excursions include Zodiac boat tours, kayaking, paddleboarding, hiking. We do different food tours like beach boil up. We do a lot of custom experiences as well. We're a year-round operation, so in the wintertime we're snowmobiling, snowshoeing, backcountry skiing. Getting people into areas that they might not necessarily get to explore on their own.
They weren't kidding. We would have never thought to visit a giant sinkhole. The Lomond sinkhole is 100 feet deep and 150 feet across. It formed when acidic water seeped into the ground, dissolving a weak layer of limestone located deep underground. This caused a cave to form in the limestone. Over many years, the cave's roof becomes more and more unstable until it finally collapsed, leaving behind this large hole. The views from the floor of the sinkhole are breathtaking. You can even go behind the waterfall. Today we are back on the road and traveling up the Northern Peninsula to visit Cow Head. Our first stop in Cow Head is to talk to Gayleen about the new Nurse Myra Bennett Center for the Performing Arts.
I'm Gayleen Buckle. I'm the General Manager of Theatre Newfoundland Labrador. TNL has been in Cow Head for 25 years. This would have been our 25th anniversary season. And a few years ago, we started to grow out of our facilities. The Warehouse Theatre, a little beautiful 92-seat black box theatre. And then our second venue was at the Shella Bay Motel conference room, which we named the Effie Room. So back in 2010, we started some feasibility studies and whatnot. And what we have here 10 years later is a brand spanking new theatre facility called the Nurse Myra Bennett Center for the Performing Arts. And this building houses our new theatre venues, main stage that has seating for 178 people and a small intimate studio space where we can seat between 70 and 77 people depending on the production that we're doing. It also has a full kitchen, all of the production facilities from costume set, props, lights, and a beautiful lobby, and it's just an absolutely glorious space. Back 25 years ago, like TNL, Theatre Newfoundland Labrador, is a 40-year-old company. So back 25 years ago, we were approached by Daryl House, owner of the Shella Bay Motel, who he, along with Ed English, who happened to be with the Department of Tourism at the time, approached us about possibly doing a dinner theatre in Cow Head because this was the thing happening across the world. And in fact, they were looking for things to excite people about coming in 1997, the John Cabot celebrations. So of course, we said, sure, we'll do that. So we created a dinner theatre called the SS Effie, the wreck of the SS Effie, and we played it for 2 nights in August 1995 at the Shella Bay Motel. And then after we did that, we thought, wow, you know, there's something about Gros Morne. Like, we've been doing our shows in Corner Brook, and we thought, you know, there's something to this, you know, like all of these people come through Gros Morne National Park every year. Once the sun goes down, they can't hike the mountains, they can't go out on the bay. What are they going to do? So we decided, let's try to bring some theatre to this community, you know, an authentic experience that happens after dark. So, and that's what we did in 1996. We had our first festival here. Our mandate is to create and produce homegrown stories or stories that speak to the people of this place. And I think that's what makes this place so special, you know. Every year, of course, you know, we come in between 25 and 40 artists that come in here every summer in a community of 500. We become very much part of the community. And I think we have a absolute mutual respect for that, they for the theatre, and we certainly for them. So, and oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I mean, you stand here, mountains on one side, the bay on the other side. What more would you want?
I'm Glenna Davis, and you are at the Dr. Henry and Payne Community Museum and Craft Shop in Cow Head. First, I'd like to say that Cow Head is the longest running museum on the west coast of Newfoundland. It started in 1975 as part of our library. It kept getting moved around the community and always to one room. So we decided to look for a resting place for the museum. We contacted the family of Mr. Payne. This house was vacant, and the family very generously donated the house to use as a community museum. The only request they made was that we take his name. So we were the Tete de Vache Museum before that time, and then we became the Dr. Henry and Payne Community Museum. And it was an honorary doctorate. He was a school teacher and a very prominent person in the community. So it was fitting that a museum be named after him for sure.
What kinds of artifacts can we see here in the museum?
A whole slew of community artifacts, of course, but we do talk a lot about the role of women here. And of course we talk about Mr. Payne, But women played a very important role in the communities, and they still do on this peninsula. And so as you go through the house, I think that becomes the prominent, thing for sure, with the panels and the women baking bread and shearing sheep and hooking mats. And we have a mat, primitive mat oak mat collection. So all of these things help make up the museum, but then there are so many different artifacts. We have a 700-year-old walrus skull that was picked up on the beach here, and walrus were quite plentiful at one time along this coast. So plentiful that at one time the fishermen used their tusks for oarlocks in their boats. So probably only Newfoundland fishermen used ivory oarlocks and didn't realize what they were doing. So there's quite a few stories there for sure. Well, we'd love people to come to the Northern Peninsula and see all the sights along the way. If you come to Cowhead, we have the lovely Dr. Henry and Payne Community Museum and Craft Shop. We have the War Memorial. We have the Gros Morne Theatre Festival, Shallow Bay Beach, second to none, the Botanical Gardens, some beautiful hiking trails out on Cowhead Summerside where you'll see the amazing 500 million year old bridges. So there's so much to enjoy if you come.
And if you've ever been to Cowhead, you all know about the beach. Shallow Bay Beach is a 5-kilometer long sandy beach with white sand. The water is shallow for meters out into the ocean, and this helps the water warm up to a beautiful swimming temperature in the summer. Looking for sand dollars was always a fun pastime. I have so many memories of spending hours hunting for them here as a teenager. After our relaxing afternoon at the beach, we had to check out the Lighthouse Trail and the trail to Sandy Point. We heard it has an impressive trail that leads right out to the point with some spectacular views along the way.
Coming up on the lighthouse here. Yeah. No, yeah, this is why I wanted to see it, because it's like, bang, right there. That's so cool. You're like right on top of it. They say it's working, yeah. Anyone there? No?
After the lighthouse, we carry on out to the point where the terrain quickly becomes a little unusual.
Beautiful. Wow. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yeah.
The strange landscape looks out of place even by Newfoundland standards, and this is a great place to explore.
Well, they were right, it was worth it.
The sun is quickly setting and we have just enough time to get back to our campsite at the Seabreeze B&B and RV park.